All right, so today we'll talk about the chromatic scale. Chroma means color. 12 notes. Each note is a color. These are the notes in the music language, in our music anyway. So the chromatic scales is basically every note, sharps and flat, and natural notes, repeated on all the octaves that we have on the guitar. Each time you do the scale, just say the notes in your head or out loud so you'll know where the notes are. I found that scale when I first started. When I first started to play guitar, when they showed me that scale, I was like, this is like just playing every note. It doesn't sound like anything. When you hear a major scale, you can hear it. Minor scale, you can hear it. Diminished scale, you can hear it when you play it. But the chromatic scale for me was like just every note played, until I understood what it's really for. It's when you play a scale, chromatic scale basically are accidental notes that you play, so you don't sound like you're playing a scale. You use a chromatic scale sometimes without even knowing it. But it's good to know. Once you know it, you can sound much better by playing it. It could be boring just to play the scales up and down, so I'll give you your first sequence. A sequence is just the notes that you're playing in different patterns, so you don't sound like you're playing a scale. So basically you can play different sequences while you're doing a solo. First sequence is pretty easy, but it takes a while to be able to do these sequences very fast, because you have to be able to do it without thinking about it. So at first, you just can't. You just have to think all the time, every note. So don't be discouraged. Sometimes it takes a day or two, and then you come back the next day, and there it is, you have it. And then after that, it's just to put the metronome higher to be able to play it faster. It's a good warm-up exercise. It's best when you do a sequence or when you play a scale, just always play with the metronome. This way you'll see your progress. At first, I would suggest not to play it with the metronome, just play it regularly, no metronome, until you be able to do it. Once you do it, just put the metronome at a normal pace that you can do it, and every time you practice it, just bring the metronome faster. So this way you'll be able to see your progress. Basically, you use the chromatic scale as a passing tone, so you don't really stay on those notes. Let's say you take a pentatonic scale. Instead of playing only the notes of the pentatonic scale, you use the chromatic scale as a passing tone to actually go where you want to go. You don't stay on that note because it's going to sound bad. So let's say I have a backing track here on A. Let's say you're playing the scale. So you're staying on the note of the scale, right? And you can use a chromatic scale. But if you stay on the wrong note, the note that is not on the pentatonic scale, it's going to sound pretty bad. That doesn't sound good. And then you finish on this one. That's not bad, but still. Doesn't sound very good. You want to finish on that one. So basically, that's what the chromatic scale is. It gives another flavor to what you want to create. When you get a scale, you pick out certain notes, and that makes the scales. So the way to visualize the chromatic scale is not to play every single notes one after the other. You can use chromatic scales everywhere. You can use it with chords. So that's one way you can apply chromatic with chords. That's it. Practice this for this week. So don't forget, if you join my Patreon, you have all this on Guitar Pro tabs and also on PDF. So it'll be easier to play once you have it in front of you. Peace.